gentlemen, and others, welcome to today's episode of The Real Deal with Aanam C. Today's guest is someone that I think I can call an OG content creator, someone who started around the same time as me, as I want to say, and someone who I really appreciate for her candidness towards liking and disliking the evolution of the creator space today. I've been in this space for about 12 years, and my fellow creator and guest on today's episode, Riya Jain, has been a creator for about 10 of those years. Yes. So hi Riya, and welcome to the pod.
Hi Aanam, thank you so much for having me, and I've been following your podcast. It's amazing and I'm glad to be here.
Thank you. Thanks for coming on. You know that one of the main things you and I have truly bonded on, I mean in general on a lot of things, but over the last few years has been discussions on how this space has changed.
Oh my god, yeah. Tell us about it.
The landscape of the creator space has really gone from blogs to extreme snackable content. But before I dive into that, I feel like it's fair to ask so that the listeners and viewers have an idea of your journey.
Right.
How exactly long ago did you start and how did you come into the creator space?
Okay, to be very honest, it's been 10 years or almost 10 years, and it's been a great journey. Of course, a roller coaster journey. When we started, I think we had to have like a fancy name, like a fancy handle. Right? So I was known as Caught in a Cuff. Like now people are getting to know my real name is Riya Jain. Earlier they thought my name is my blog's name called Caught in a Cuff. And I think I was in college and we used to follow all these international influencers back in the days. I still do follow them like Megan, Camilla, Kiara, who were doing internationally, and it looked like, oh wow, what are they doing? You know, it's something really, really fun. And I was always inclined towards fashion because that was my passion. But somehow I was always also, I'm like a BMS graduate. I've done my master's in marketing, and the plan initially was to do something in the marketing field. Right now, marketing my own brand. So yeah, I think after I was almost like graduating, and then I was like, why not just give it a shot? Because that time I think Instagram was just picking up in India. I was just a normal girl posting my normal regular OOTDs, and that's when I had like few comments like, oh my god, we love it, where is that from, where is this from? And I think I picked it up from international influencers, what blogging was back in the days, and then I started my journey, and it was just more about creating pictures, right? Because that time reels or videos were not a thing that much as it is today. So I think that's where Caught in a Cuff was born, and it's like it was from Caught in a Cuff to Riya Jain. It's just been a year now. I've changed my handle because of course, the time has changed now. Back in the days, I used to post a lot about fashion, lifestyle, more towards fashion. And then I moved towards lifestyle. So that's where I started my journey, I think, yeah.
Like, of course, the last 10 years have been an incredible journey for you. I'm sure I've had the opportunity to witness it firsthand as well. But where do you see yourself 10 years from now? How do you feel like that's going to go?
Oh my god, I haven't thought about it. If you ask me, I'm just going with the flow. Till date I'm going with the flow. Of course I have like a couple of plans like that way, but I never imagined myself where I am today, to be honest, right? Because that time, Aanam, I think when we started, I think nobody knew the meaning of blogging. Yeah. Nobody knew what now there's a new term, influencers, content creators. But that time we used to blog, we used to write, we had a website. All of us used to like religiously write and talk about fashion, talk about that particular shoot.
Good old times.
Yeah, good old times. We used to literally sit down, we used to write like big essays about our OOTDs or about what we are blogging about. So I think right now, if you ask me, I'm just going with the flow, like, you know, and let's see where it goes because if you ask me, like, you know, it's been 10 years. I never imagined to be here till date. It's just been a great ride that way, yeah.
Talk to me a little bit about how you've coped with the evolution of the space, because I know from, of course, conversations we've had otherwise, there are things we love about it, and then there are things we definitely don't love about it, which is normal, I think, for any career graph or any industry, so to speak. But what are some of the things you really like or particularly dislike about where the landscape of the creator world is today in India, of course?
See, to be honest, I love how we all are growing and there's so much talent. I love how we are, given a recognition right now. I love that. I love how blogging or influencing or content creation is taken like a serious profession
Yeah.
now. I love it that I see so many of us killing it out there. I love so much of talented people where I think we couldn't. Ever see it if Instagram wasn't there.
Yeah.
I think I see so many new talents. I love how they're so talented. I really appreciate. What I dislike about the whole evolution, like the whole thing, is that I think they just completely forget the where we started. Like old is gold. I believe in that, right?
Yeah.
So I feel if you ask me, like what I'm disliking is that the whole change is great, but a lot of things are ignored. Like if you ask me, like about, like, we've been here since 10 years, but right now if something like India in masses are loving entertainment, like they're loving just laughing, right? They are just liking all these laughable memes.
The entertainment and comedy space.
Yeah, that the comedy space, or for example, that has been given like a top notch right now.
Yeah.
Like, right? And then the fashion lifestyle makeup creators like us are just a little, like, they just, I think it's just getting a lot of mixed up. Everything is just getting mixed up. Like there's no segregation as such, I would like to say.
Yeah.
Like if Aanam is a makeup creator, I would love to see a lot of makeup videos. If Riya is a fashion creator, I would like to see a lot of fashion things on her. But when you come to see, everything is just too mixed up. Like, the brands are just getting mixed up with everything. So I feel that is something which I'm not liking. Like if you see, for example, I just give an example. Like if I'm working for a brand, maybe it's a makeup brand, I'm seeing a lot of mixed audience doing it, just not makeup creators. I see less makeup creators and more different kind of creators.
Yeah.
So I think that's what is happening right now.
You feel like there should be more genre specific.
Yeah, I think that is required.
That's
yeah.
fair. I actually, because you mentioned that, I should tell you, a few years ago, and my nephew and niece today
Right.
are 6 and 10, 7 and 10 now.
Right.
When they were about maybe 3 and 7ish, like a
Right.
couple of years ago, I got reached out to by an agency that was representing, I cannot remember whether it was a diaper brand or whether it was something on those lines, something that you would typically go to a mom for.
Right.
And they were like, oh, but we see your nephew and your niece in your vlogs and on your stories. And I was like, guys, you come to me on, a kiddie place to take my nephew and niece to, I would still probably consider it and discuss it with them.
Right.
Why would anybody go to the aunt on diaper something? I can't remember what the product was, because it makes no sense. So when you say mixed up of different things,
Right.
that's the first example that comes to my mind where I had to consciously say, no, this
Right.
does not make sense.
Right.
Like, I'm not going to just make the money because I can make the money. The audience is going to laugh at me.
Right.
And I'm not comfortable with setting my foot in a space that I have zero expertise on.
Right.
Right? So I get what you're saying.
Right.
Because I've asked you that question, I feel like it's only fair that I also answer the same
Of course,
question.
yeah.
I feel like what I love about this space is the fact that today we're taken a lot more seriously as an industry.
Agreed, right.
When we started, I remember when I would sit, like, I'm talking about literally 2011, when I would sit not even on the FS seats at Fashion Week, I had to stand because bloggers weren't given space to sit.
Right,
Let
right.
alone the fact that today we get front row and we get seated by the designers, and obviously that's a fantastic feeling. But it's taken a very long time. And I
us,
feel like
yeah.
people like you and me from our generation have really seen the non-cool times of being an influencer.
That's
like,
true.
like the uncool phase of, oh my God, they do what? They take pictures for Instagram and a website. So I feel like the fact that we've come far enough that we're recognized as an industry. And I mean, today, over the last year, there's conversations on different ways of taxing influencers, goes to show how legitimate we are as
Right.
an industry and towards contributing towards the economy as a whole.
Right.
I mean, mainstream budgets are getting moved to digital for people
That's
like
true, yeah.
you and I in our industry. So that's
Right.
really saying something. When it comes to disliking things about the influencer space, I agree with your point on segregation
Right.
and the requirement for that, for sure, on some level. What I would say particularly dislike, so to speak, about it, and I know that this is a hot take because trending content is very short and very
Right.
snackable, and I love the entertainment, but where's the real content? Where's the information? I feel what's really working is things that sometimes don't make sense at all to me.
Right.
And I understand and acknowledge that I don't come from the typical level of masses who is looking for just entertainment. I am looking for education. I am looking for information to take away beyond just the entertainment. So I'm where people like you and I are the exception.
Right.
But I miss when I could find information in more or higher ratio of content pieces.
Right.
Because when I see what we traditionally called cringe content doing well, I understand that there's a large audience for it.
Right.
But because I am not part of that audience,
Right.
I find myself almost not wanting to scroll sometimes, because I'm like, the algorithm has not figured me out. And
That's
it's not
true.
serving me what I want.
That is
and
true.
then that's demotivating me as a creator, because I'm like, if this is doing well, because as much as we don't like to focus on numbers, we keep telling ourselves that or talking ourselves
That's
through
so
that.
true, yeah.
It is a part of what we do.
Right.
And it's what our livelihoods depend on. So I feel like that it can be a little demotivating on that front, that should die. But like sometimes my random phone shot reel will go viral, and then something I've actually put thought and effort, and the unpredictability of it
Right.
is something that is demotivating and discouraging to me. So I don't like it.
Yeah, I think that is something which we never saw it coming, maybe.
Yeah.
Right, because the algorithm is, of course, again, I think it's a roller coaster ride over there too.
Yeah.
But I feel like I agree with you in every way what you said right now, but the way how we love so much of talent coming up,
Yeah.
but it is a little demotivating as well, because there's so much efforts we put to create one piece, because there's so much of hard work, so much of brainstorming happening, so much of hard work going on, and then that just doesn't work on the feed, and then you just put a simple video, like a random phone shot, as you said, does wonders.
Yeah.
So right now it's the algorithm which we need to like figure, but it's not, I don't think which we will ever figure, because that's not up to us. I
Yeah.
feel that is just like,
It is what it is.
It is what it is, yeah. It is
I
what
was
it-
watching this really interesting video on YouTube the other day, and I want to talk to you about YouTube as well, because I want to actually ask you why you don't do YouTube.
Oh my god, let's not get there.
I was watching this really interesting video on YouTube the other day where there were people from the YouTube team, and they were talking about the algorithm of shorts.
Okay.
And shorts, I feel, has, at least for me personally, it has cracked my code.
Oh,
when
wow.
I scroll on shorts, I
Right.
get content that I really want to see. I don't get random things that make me want to swipe away.
Got
I mean, I would say 7 out of 10 shorts I will actually watch through, and I might just swipe away from only 3 out of 10, which is a pretty good ratio.
Yeah, definitely.
I
yeah.
feel,
Yeah.
right? So they mentioned a line that really caught my attention, and it's now etched in my brain. They said the algorithm is the audience.
Right.
The way people consume reels is different from the kind of person that's only scrolling on the home feed. I, for one, am someone who, for the longest time, would only scroll on the home feed because I only wanted information from the people I was following.
Right.
And then my team started pushing me to sit on the Reels tab some more to
Right.
consume other content. And I'm
Right.
very grateful they did.
Right.
Because I truly understood, kind of, oh, wait, I've been in my bubble and I need to step out of it. Have you had any moments like that where you felt like I need to tear open this bubble and get out of
I
it?
think many a times, but then I'm again back in the bubble. So I think I've reached this point in my life that some days I'm just like constantly scrolling and wondering and trying to figure, okay, how can the reach can be better for my feed. And some days I'm just like, I don't want to see any of it. I just want to like switch it off. I don't want to see what the world is doing. Like, if you come to my page, we've been doing this since almost 10 years, and the reach used to be amazing. Almost like 2 years ago, I would like to say, I think since the last 2 years, since Reels have just 2-3 years, I feel the reach, of course, has taken their own, has gone for a toss. And sometimes I'm in I'm just trying to figure, and I'm just constantly scrolling. But I think I've reached right now. If you ask me, I'm just like, yeah, I'm done with it. I'm in this phase. I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever is happening is happening. Let's just, you do you, and just go that way. That is the thing.
You know what you said about reach is so true, because
Right.
like sometimes when I'm going through one of my moments and I'm really fast scrolling back my own profile,
Right.
or I click on one of my own hashtags and it takes me back to a much older post of that
That's
category,
correct.
and I'm like, that had even more impressions than what there is today,
Oh my
or
God,
that
yeah.
had 5 times the likes of what I had today. The engagement used to be so high.
Yeah, and I think Instagram, like that time, I think our content pieces used to reach out to a lot more people. But now I feel, Anam, it's so crowded. Instagram is so crowded, and everybody is doing so much. I feel, I just have this theory of mine. I can be wrong.
I'm all ears.
So I think the older profiles, like we've been doing this in almost since 10 years,
yeah.
12 years, 10 years, almost the same time. I feel Instagram is not pushing the older profiles. They're pushing the new profiles which are coming in. And I feel that is my theory. I can be wrong. I feel if we start a new page, right? If we are like constantly talking about our journey, our lifestyle, fashion, makeup, I think that will have more reach, I feel, because I just feel our Instagram profile has become too old and Instagram has stopped promoting that. This is my theory.
You're not... I mean, I don't think you're very wrong, because there was this article I read by Shefali Bhatt, who's also been a guest on my podcast,
Wow.
actually.
Yeah.
She's a journalist who writes exclusively on the digital and creator economy.
Okay.
And she did this article about Instagram and mentioned how when a new profile is created on Instagram, there is a set of paid profiles that is recommended to follow. And now when you're mentioning this, that article is coming back to my mind, because all I'm thinking is that I've seen the screenshots in that article and they're all relatively, I would say, real profiles. Right? Like, because like it's the TikTok's population of really like amazing creators that move to being real leading creators.
Right.
And I'm gonna send you that screenshot and that article for you to take a look at. I don't know if it's an algorithm thing or whether they're pushing it. Where I stand on this, very honestly, is just that I feel maybe their profiles are possibly newer, but because they entered at a trending era, their profiles just have this trampoline like boost, which ours are not likely to have, because we've been around since the Mesozoic era. I don't know, like, you know what I mean? We've been around let's be real, in digital analogies, we're 12 and 10 years old, which make us pretty ancient. My God, it pinches me to say it, but it is what it is. And we've somehow, even then, managed to stay involved and on campaigns and done this as our job. But of course, the challenge of reach, I mean, if you look at it, and it's not just us, you look at anybody who's been a creator for over maybe 7-8 years, you will see a stark difference in growth ratio from someone who has built their profiles on Reels 2020 onwards versus anyone else from before.
That's absolutely right. I've actually seen so many profiles like that. Of course, no names to be mentioned here, but But yeah, you're absolutely right, because the first thing which you said, the trendy era where they have come in, that's again a plus point for them.
Yes.
But you know what, we have built the ladders one by one. If you ask me, like I always tell people that, you know, when blogging or content creation or influencing was not a thing, we were building that up for everybody, and I'm glad that we did that for everybody. It's I would say that we are very proud. We should be proud of each other.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that way I'm really glad that way. But when you say that, you know, our algorithm is something I still can't figure sometimes. I'm just like, I've just let it go for now, and I'm just like doing what I used to do, like what I used to love the most, like fashion, lifestyle, everything. And I'm sure even you're doing the same thing, makeup and everything. I keep seeing you love that transition going. I think we are still very relevant because we are still sticking to our niche.
Yeah.
We still are sticking to what we were doing even 10 years back. We have not moved that because the world demands something else. Of course, there are like a little tweaks here and there, but we're still sticking to our niche, and that's why till date I think we are still very, very relevant to the audience, even if there are 100 new people coming, but we are still standing there. So I would like to just, you know, say that sometimes algorithm does take a toll on our heads, but our audience are always like pushing us back. Like they're like, yeah.
I feel like I've come up with this, I don't want to call it a mantra because that would be really pushing it, but approach to the way I think of it in my head, which helps both my mental sanity and keeps me motivated to whatever extent I can be when I'm feeling demotivated, which is it comes and goes. But
it's very natural to feel demotivated, Aanam. I think every day we can't be like every day we can't wake up and be like, oh, today's gonna be a perfect day, right? You know,
no. We're real.
Let's be real. Like today will be a bad day, tomorrow will again be a bad day, but the third day will be better. I feel like
So what I've said to myself over a period of the past couple of years of trying to navigate these not very pleasant waters of like, okay, wait, how am I going to figure this? How do I, this is my job. It is what pays my bills. I have a team and bills and, this is your livelihood at the end of the day.
True.
So what I say to myself is I'm never going to be relevant to everyone. But I will stay relevant to the audience that finds my content relevant to them.
Perfect.
And if that means that I will not dance to, because that's not my audience. There is an audience for that, and no shame in the game. I think more power to anyone that can do things without being emotionally attached to their content. I'm very emotionally attached to my content. So I feel like if someone wants recommendations on beauty, in my case, and they come to my page and they go through it, they will find the solutions that they're looking for or the reviews they're asking for. I will find my relevance by sticking to the space that I want to, rather than trying to, growth will be slower, but the people that are with me will know what they're with me for.
Of course.
And I kind of find my peace or my pocket of joy in that, where I realize that not everyone can be relevant to everyone. And I've come to find myself to be honestly comfortable with that, because I don't want to be in a different space. I love my space.
Of course.
Maybe it's out of comfort. Maybe it's out of the fact that I purely am very passionate about beauty. I also started mostly as fashion and went into beauty because it just found me. It became my path. And today I have verified. But I feel like that for me is how I give myself that this is what I was meant to do.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. Like, we're still sticking to our niche and we are still doing what we love. Of course, again, as I mentioned, there are things where we just a little bit of tweaking in the content creation, what we do, but we still go back to where we belong, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's what matters the most for us right now. Even if the world is growing, we are also growing with them together. And again, I believe in what you said, that, we might be relevant to the people who what you said, like, I'm not looking to be relevant to everybody, just the bunch of people who are following me and are still going, still going to follow me. I'm just creating content for them. Same with you. I think that's what keeps us going, and that's the only thing which I think is for us, since it's been over a decade, I think that's the only thing which help us to keep on working towards our own thing, that way.
But do you feel like you know what's next for you? Because I love the collection you did with Uptownie. For those of you who are watching, I am literally wearing Riya Jain X Uptownie, and I love the collection.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Do you feel like having your own brand could be on the cards? Do you feel like you'd want to diversify and go into a space that has you have this amazing community that you've built? You have about 400,000-ish, 450,000-ish, somewhere in that range.
Yeah, around 400 and
something thousand, on Instagram. And I feel like we've built these communities that come to us for advice. Like for me, having the beauty brand at some point was just inevitable because I wanted it, and it was the direction.
Yeah.
Thank you. And I feel like for you, that's something you should definitely consider diversifying into over a period of time.
That's the plan, to be honest, because I am thinking to start my own label, and I'm very, very excited. I do not know when and what and how, but that's the plan for sure. That I'll be having my own clothing label, and I'm quite excited for that. To be honest, I've already started working a little, but I don't know. Again, I don't want to give a date or which year, but soon.
But take your time. I took 4 years on Verified, and I'm so glad I took those 4 years, because I could really fine tune the details as opposed to just doing it in a rush.
That's amazing. Of course, I don't want to do it right now. I'm taking my own sweet time. I'm just studying everything, doing my homework, and I'm just like, okay, this is what I have to do, and let's see when and how. So that's the plan for sure.
When we look out at the creator industry in general all over India, creator brands right now are really like they're picking up. They're big.
Right.
I wouldn't say they're fully like big maybe, but they're on the upsurge, let's say.
Right.
And I feel like it's a great time to be in that space.
Of course, that is amazing because if we have so much of audience who are following us, we already have the base so strong and they're following us for a reason. And once we have our own brand, right, it's just a bonus because they trust us so much and we would not break their trust at all. So I think for creators, having their own brand is always a good and a bonus point because firstly, we already have our audience who love us so much. And secondly, they're always supporting us in a way where, it keeps us motivating and just pushing, like it just helps us to push us more from our own comfort zone, I would say. Yeah.
No, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Is there anything specific in terms of a bigger project that you're currently working on that you can share?
Currently I'm working on multiple projects, like since festive season's around, like Ganpati gonna start, so there are a couple of things which I'm working on. Fashion week is coming, so I love fashion weeks, but again, totally depends how how that is panning out to be. And then I might again travel with a brand soon, but again that's 50, you know how it works, right?
Yeah.
So let's see. There's no like such something major coming up. What about you?
Well, there's a lot panned out for Verified. So
Of
I feel
course.
like I just came back after 6 weeks in the States, right? So for
Right.
me, it's like I'm catching up on all of my launch prep work for the end of the year.
Right.
And when it comes to content, I feel like because I've come back after so much of travel content has happened, I feel like with a vengeance, I want to go in and do more beauty because I've missed creating beauty
You already
content.
started beauty, Anna. We're already killing it.
That's big because I came back and I was like, I have done only travel content and outfits in the last month and a half.
Right.
Now I want to I miss just, sitting down and filming a tutorial and putting something out there. So that's the zone my head is in right now.
Perfect zone.
Because you mentioned that, how things can be when we're looking at campaigns and projects, things are moving around so much. How involved do you stay in your business side of things? And do you have any tips for budding creators who are listening?
Regarding the business side, if you ask me, please go for events, but do not go for every events for barter or for free. You're more than your worth. Of course, I get it because when we started, we used to do a lot of barter events. We used to love attending events, but that was like 10 years ago, guys. Now things have changed. Things have evolved. Everything here, where the influencer community has grown so much, and I feel that sometimes the budding creators are just maybe they are just not able to. They think, okay, no, we should be there everywhere, it will help us. Of course it will, but know where to draw your lines. I would like to say that much. You should know where to draw your lines. I would say attend 10 events if you feel like that will help you to grow, but you should know, this is it. Like the brand and agencies play a very important role here, like when it comes to a lot of things, of course, but I don't want them to take like an advantage, I would like to say. And I would just like to say that respect their time, their value, their content creation and their content, and I would say that just know what you guys are doing because everything has a value. I also feel like with newer content creators, it can be really easy to get carried away with visibility versus worth. I had this newer content creator reach out to me for advice. Now she's not new anymore. Now she's been around for a few years, I would say, who would do a lot of barter projects and was like, yes, but this agency reached out to me and they were the first ones to kind of find me. And so I continue to say yes to them. And so I continue to say yes to them. And then a few years later, when she realized that she needs to start placing a price tag on her services, they completely cut her off. Right.
And then she came to me and said, I should have listened to you and I should have slowly even so started putting some kind of, even if it was a minimal price point.
Right.
So she ruined it for herself with that agency in a way. And then what also happens in such cases is that you ruin it for everyone else and the market, because as you grow, if you don't put that price tag on, the agencies and brands somewhere start expecting others to do the same, because it becomes prestige versus visibility versus commercials.
Right.
So finding that sweet spot is very, very pivotal.
Yes, that's you're right. You have to know again where to draw your lines.
Is there anything you would do differently in your 10-year journey? Is there any little criticism or change you would tell Riya from 10 years ago that I should have done this differently?
If you ask me, I think I would have started my YouTube channel. Yeah, like 8 years or 6 years back. I would have done it, but somehow didn't want to manage. You could say always was somehow finding reason and excuses. Oh my God, no, yeah, that's not my cup of my tea. That's not going to happen. But I think that is something which I would have changed. I think I would have started my YouTube channel because, trust me, I would love to show. I love to show my life in a very different way. But I think somewhere I'm just like on an Instagram. It's very like, it's always like one, not filtered, but more like
more finesse.
Yeah. And but yeah, I think that's the only one thing, and I think rest I love whatever I've done, and yeah, I think that's all. Like, I think YouTube. What about you?
I think I would have told myself to start YouTube earlier. Yeah. I started YouTube barely 6 years ago. I think that if I had to go back and change something, I would have started my own YouTube from the very beginning.
Yeah, I think even I would have started my own YouTube from very beginning, but somehow I always thought, I'll do it today. That today has never come.
Yeah.
Till date.
Well, it's not too late.
That's true. I might just do it maybe this year.
Do you at least post your reels to shorts or something?
Nothing. I used to, but then I stopped doing that as well.
Why? That's like literally the exact same piece of content.
I know,
but
it's just like, like, it's just sometimes we just don't do it. I just feel that just happened, yeah.
Well, that should be on your agenda for the last quarter of this year or something.
Yeah, that's in my agenda since 2013.
Okay, no, you'll do it this year. Come on.
Yeah, I'll try. Yeah.
You can do this.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming on and chatting with me about your journey, talking to me about so many things so candidly. I really appreciate it. There's so much more that I know is going to come from the Caught in a Cuff page, let's call it.
Oh my God, I miss that. I miss my handle being called Caught in a Cuff, if you ask me. I really miss that. When I had, when I had asked Instagram to help me with my username, Riya Jain, to switch it up. I was just talking to my handle. Thank you, Caught in a Cuff, for being there. Thank you, because the handle was supposed to change. So I was just talking to my handle. You have made me what I am, and it's crazy because that name, Caught in a Cuff, is and was and will always be the most important thing of my life, because trust me, Aanam, people don't know my name yet. I'm telling you, people know me as Caught in a Cuff. Wherever I'm bumping into people, they don't call me by Riya. They call me Aap Caught in a Cuff ho na.
Have you trademarked it?
Good question. We'll discuss this after the podcast.
You should trademark it. I'm serious, because for all you know, that could be the name of like your brand.
Yeah.
So you never have to let it go.
Yeah, it's already gone, by the way. But I can get it back from it. But of course, I have my blog. Yeah. But my Instagram handle, they told me they're going to be not giving it to anybody, but they have already given it to somebody. Yeah. But that's gonna but I can think that can be solved.
It can be managed.
Yeah, I think that can be managed.
Yeah. But do you miss writing on the website, on the blog?
Sometimes
we were supposed to be ending, but like I thought of another question,
I miss writing. I miss talking about just one specific outfit in such a specific manner, like everything used to be like, we used to like write about everything so well. I think I missed that, because that time people were interested as well, knowing about every detail of our outfit, about our day, about everything. But now, as we said, they like just 10, I think that's just 10 seconds, I think, not even 2, I think 10 seconds they enjoy snackable content. But I do miss writing. I do miss making like longer videos, talking about the whole day, journey. But I think that's not happening again.
Maybe it'll come back, because everything that goes out of style also comes back.
That's true. That is true. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, like you never know. Yeah, you never know. Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna keep my fingers crossed that it does, because people like you and I will thrive in that environment. So thank you for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me.
Everything so candidly, and I appreciate it so much.
Thank you so much, Aanam. I loved to be here, and thank you so much for having me again.
My pleasure.